It seems that you can't turn on the television or go to the bookstore these days without seeing William Shatner in some form or another.
Oh man, he's turning up more places than Elvis. Star Trek, TJ Hooker, Emergency 911, and now TekWar. You just can't hide, he's everywhere.
And now he's coming to the PC with William Shatner's TekWar the Game. And we are very privileged to have the man himself here to help us with this review.
Thank you. I'm very glad to be here so you can bask in my glory. And I can tell you about my new game, TekWar. I also want to add a bit of culture to IE. So, I'm going to do this review in what I like to call Shatner Haiku, also known as Shatku.
I can't believe this is happening.
Move! He's gonna kill us!
Bascom's scraping the bottom of the barrel these days.
Run away! Hurry, get out of my way!
Shatku? Is this guy serious?
TekWar is my game. It's a first-person shooter. I am a genius.
Oh, brother.
Well, the TekWar universe is very popular, being based on the best-selling series of novels by Shatner. And now, after numerous novels, television movies, and a television series, TekWar has come to your PC.
And Capstone, of all companies, has translated the TekWar universe quite successfully to a first-person shooter, incorporating some neat features and making first-person games, believe it or not, interesting again.
First, here's a bit of background on the TekWar universe. It's centered around Los Angeles in the year 2045. The drug of choice is a little thing called tech, which uses virtual reality technology instead of chemicals to alter the user's reality.
Tech is very bad. Worse than drugs you smoke. Of course, I didn't inhale.
All you do is put the tech device on your head, insert the tech disc, and you can have any fantasy you want. The only trouble is that tech is extremely addictive and potentially lethal.
Huge crime organizations headed by ruthless bosses called tech lords control the tech trade, and they've launched a plan to addict a large portion of the world's population with tech.
A couple of brilliant scientists have disappeared, and the fear is that the tech lords are using them to find a way of distributing tech on the Matrix, which is the internet of the future.
Anyone using the Matrix will get addicted, then the tech lords will turn off the flow of tech, forcing everyone to buy from the tech lords to maintain their habit.
This is where the player comes in. You're a cop that's been framed for dealing tech, and you've spent the last 5 years of your life in cryogenic suspension. Walter Bascom, the head of the Cosmos Detective Agency, played by William Shatner.
My finest acting. Picard has nothing on me. I am so pretty.
Oh my god!
Call the police!
Anyway, Bascom gets you out of prison on a special parole in order for you to stop the bad guys. If you stop them, you save the masses from tech addiction, and if you fail, you go back to the freezer.
The game begins with you getting out of the freezer and being briefed on your mission by Walter Bascom, which has been done in digitized video.
In a nice move away from sequential levels found in other first-person games, TekWar has 7 different tech lords you have to defeat, and you get to pick in which order to go after them.
When you defeat a tech lord, you gain a key to the Matrix, which is where the password to the tech lord's stronghold is kept. The password is broken into several pieces, and you use each key from a tech lord to go in and get a piece of the password.
All of the familiar first-person shooter keys are used to move, fire, run, strafe, look up, look down, jump, and crouch. But even though it plays like other Doom clones, TekWar actually has a bit of depth to it, making it a little more involved than just running around and shooting things.
You shouldn't play Doom. Play TekWar. 'Cause I say so. I'm William Shatner.
I could take you in my sleep.
Shoot me, please!
Do we have to put up with this?
This isn't in my contract, you know.
The biggest selling point of TekWar has got to be the graphics. First-person shooters haven't looked this good since Magic Carpet 2. Los Angeles looks very convincing, especially in SVGA.
Streets, walkways, gardens, shops, it all looks realistic. And the designers have thrown in some nice touches with revolving doors, being able to bust through windows, and boxes of donuts lying around wherever there are cops.
But strangely enough, as good as the environment is, the explosions are just plain awful. Anytime something blows up, it looks like a paint pellet hitting a wall.
And firing a weapon is no better. I'm telling you, all this effort has been put into making the virtual world look good, and action's just an afterthought. It really, really hurts the game.
As good as the Los Angeles environment is, going into the Matrix is something that has to be seen to be believed. The Matrix is a network that can be navigated through virtual reality, and since there was no real point of reference for what that would be like, the look of the Matrix was wide open for the TekWar designers.
The result is a psychedelic experience with multicolored everything. There are three-dimensional mazes to work through, computer security systems to try and shoot or eat you, and computer viruses in certain areas that are deadly to the touch.
The controls in the Matrix are very slow and sluggish, so the action isn't as intense, but the environment is so unbelievably cool you won't mind much.
The Matrix is cool, where no man has gone before. Unlike Heidi Fleiss.
You loser!
Help me, please. Help.
It's incredible how well designed both the Los Angeles and Matrix areas of this game are, but that just makes the ugly action scenes that much more bizarre.
Like most first-person shooters on the market, TekWar is multiplayer capable. But even though the regular gameplay is decent, the multiplayer game is worthless.
There are 7 different multiplayer levels, and they're pretty large. That's fine for games involving lots of players, but with only 2 or 3 players, you spend all your time looking for each other and end up fighting for about 5 seconds.
And the look of the other human players is about as bad as it gets. You see other players as a guy with sunglasses on with his hands stuck in his pockets. If he has a weapon selected, you still only see him as a guy with his hands in his pockets.
If he jumps in the air, you see him move straight up and down, hands still in his pockets, and if he crouches, you see him sink halfway into the floor. It's awful. What were they thinking?
Multiplayer stinks. That makes no difference at all. I still get paid. Spa!
All in all, TekWar was a big surprise. I was expecting just another first-person shoot-'em-up, but this game has some interesting features.
Both the Los Angeles and Matrix environments were done very well, but they really dropped the ball when it came to action graphics like shooting and explosions. And the multiplayer mode is just horrendous.
If you really need a new first-person shooter, TekWar isn't bad, as long as you play the one-player games. But if you don't have some of the other big games yet, you might want to check out those before you buy TekWar.